Team Fortress 2 is my favorite multiplayer game, my second favorite video game of all time, and was quite possibly the greatest multiplayer shooter of all time. You might have picked up on some specific wording I used there. Was. It hurts me deeply to use the past tense there because, for the past several years, TF2 has been dealing with constant waves upon waves upon waves of cheating, hate speech touting, game ruining aimbots. In April 2020, right around the start of that one global event, some genius decided to leak the source codes of Counter-Strike Global Offensive and Team Fortress 2 to the public. This opened the floodgates for malicious parties to study TF2's code and create cheating aimbots by the dozens. Ever since then, casual mode, basically TF2's default game mode, has been a nigh unplayable mess, with bots and human cheaters joining casual games and instantly headshotting people, vote-kicking innocent human players, spamming hate speech in text and voice chats, the works. While some bot hosters may do this for attention, the vast majority of hosters are doing this to kill off TF2. Valve, as always, have done next to nothing about the bot crisis. In the early days, they introduced some security changes that didn't work. They made free-to-play users unable to use voice commands, voice chat, or text chat, and made users just joining casual games unable to call vote kicks right out the gate. All this was more or less putting a band-aid on a broken arm and saying it's fixed. Then there was the Save TF2 movement a couple years back, which did kick up enough dust for Valve to at least acknowledge it, and they at least tried, but ultimately, this whole thing came to nothing. Ordinarily, I wouldn't be too pissed off about this, but Valve have gone completely radio silent about the issue since then, and not one fix has been permanent. Community servers like Skyle, Uncletopia, Black Wonder, etc. have been wonderful saving graces in these trying times, offering bot-free experiences and actual working anti-cheats while staying true to TF2's core design. That said though, community servers are best used supplementary to casual mode, since not only do they not teach much to new players about the game's core mechanics, nor should new players be expected to know how the server browser works right off the bat when booting up the game for the first time, most community servers like that are filled with veteran tryhards of the game, giving a sink or swim tutorial to new players instead of easing them into it. Some naysayers may say that TF2 is almost 2 decades old and that it's unrealistic to expect Valve to care about it again, and that the community should just leave the issues since no significant new content is going to be added. What self-reports of statements? Personally, I don't mind too much if TF2 never gets an update-sized update ever again. I made my peace with that, and if I want something fresh and new while still feeling like base TF2, I'll just go to Fish Stick on a Stick's bad weapon rehab community servers. My problem is that Valve has a responsibility as a game company offering their game on their distribution platform, charging microtransactions for their loot boxes, of which several new loot boxes have been released from the start of the crisis to today, to maintain this game in a playable state, or at the very least, say something and acknowledge the crisis. People in the community have created an enough is enough style movement to demand Valve to get additional help into the TF team and put a final end to this crisis once and for all, with a petition to be handed to Valve to show them we want them to care about one of their best games again. With the failure of the Save TF2 movement in 2022, we've learned asking nicely and just showing our love for the game isn't enough. I don't consider myself a TF-tuber, nor am I nearly large enough to leave a massive impact on the success of the movement, but any amount of traction will help in the long run. If the fixed TF2 movement fails, it fails. We can at least say we tried. My hope and prayer is that fixed TF2 is finally the wake-up call Valve needs to stop burying their heads in the sand on the bot crisis and finally put an end to this whole thing, be it through technical means like anti-cheats, pursuing legal action against the bot creators and hosters, whatever the solution may be. Whether you have 1 million subscribers or 10, spread the word around. Let's make Valve fix TF2.